know that I just
All right, I'm going to share this to my page. Share now.
now that we're on the right page, this is fantastic. Oh wait,
Yes, it is. I am excited for a little scrutiny with Cheri and Andy.
I know, and it's my turn to do the thing.
All right, Cheri, do the thing.
I'm gonna do it.
Do it.
Get it. We're on episode 35.
I know that's exciting. That is an exciting thing.
I know. We're getting up there in the numbers.
Yeah, it's fun to just watch it grow. You know, the more you put out there, it just continues to build on itself.
Yeah. I can't wait till our 100th episode. That'll be fun. Okay.
Yes, that will be fun. That'll be a blast.
That'll be when I'm doing this show by myself and it's just called Scrutiny with Cheri.
It's just called Screw Andy Vargo.
Right.
We'll have to keep our clothes on for that episode. Well, maybe not.
Okay, you ready?
Huh?
Are you ready?
Oh, I am ready.
We haven't even started drinking yet today.
Oh, God. All right, welcome to Scrutiny with Cheri and Andy. I'm Cheri Hardman. This is my good friend.
Andy Vargo.
Wait, am I pointing the wrong? I can never figure it out.
You were doing it the right way the first time, at least on my screen.
Yeah, I think it's backward. Anyway, we're happy to be here, episode 35.
We are.
Wherever you are, Andy.
And wherever you are, because people can see us. We have an international audience of people watching us from all over the world, which is so exciting.
It is exciting. So you're back from your trip. I missed you.
Oh, I missed you too. Just isn't the same when we travel separately.
I know. Let's talk about what we have coming up. We want to do that. We'll get that out of the way. I don't have anything tomorrow, but Saturday I have 2 shows.
Yeah.
I think this is the first time I've ever had 2 shows in one day.
That's awesome. So what are they? I know.
Pirate Comedy at Tacoma Comedy Club at 4:30.
Nice.
And then I'll be at Jai Tai Doors at 8:30, I'm assuming, for a 9 o'clock show. So
Very
that's cool. Yeah. From one end of Tacoma to Seattle. And then on the 13th, Sunday night at 8 o'clock at Nate Jackson Super Funny Comedy Club, you and I are doing Dirty Jokes with Cheri Hardman, and we're doing the game show version.
That's going to be a blast. And don't forget, Sunday is Spring Ahead Day. So it actually is only going to feel like it's 7 o'clock. You're going to be needing something to fill that extra time at night.
Yeah, so I might as well do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have Tony Daniel headlining, and I don't know, have you seen him?
Yes, he's hilarious.
He's really funny, yeah, and I'm excited to have him. I think I was looking back in my chats with Tony, and it was like, there was a message from him from like 2019, like, tag me in all your stuff and we'll get something together and work together. And then that never happened. So, yeah. So I'm glad that it's finally happening now.
Very good. Yeah.
We got Andy on the show. We have Mike Hansen. We have Amani Taylor, and we have Bernice. Oh, I was going to ask her how to say her name before because I've heard people say, like I would think it's ye, but I've heard people say yeah. So I don't know how she says it. I've never heard her say it herself.
We're going to have Bernice on, and we'll find out before we introduce her how to say her name at the show. So show up on Sunday so you can find out the proper way to say her name.
But I'm really excited. And I mean, and to be honest, like some of you have been to Cheri's Unmentionables, and it's the same show, just with a different name. Which is good, because then that means it's tried and true and tested. We've taken it out. Audiences always love it.
And it is always very well received because you just never know what's going to happen. There's you could see the same comedian throughout the same comedian could do the same set through the entire show and it would be different the entire time because it just makes,
so
that's
it's
not what happens, but it's going to be fun.
And it's fun because you get to see comedians who maybe always tell their jokes in the exact same way have to learn how to switch it up a little bit. And so even when people are like awkward or nervous, it just makes it more funny. So
yeah, that it is true because some of the comedians that it's funniest to watch are the ones that are always so well polished, which I have so much respect for when they do that, but it puts them in just a whole different space that it makes it pretty entertaining to watch.
Yeah, so it'll be a good time. Will definitely be a good time. Tickets are on sale on Eventbrite. You can go to Bubble Wrap Comedy or anywhere on my page to find the link.
And we'll drop the link into our comments.
Are we boring you, Andy? Are we boring you?
Sorry,
talking about our show?
That information. So,
you got anything else going on?
Not entertainment wise. That's it for my shows coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Later on this month, we're doing Unmentionables at Odd Otter.
Yeah, the 28th.
So we'll be there. You're not on that one, are you?
I am not, but it's a whole different host of comedians.
You're going to be there, and yeah, it's all new people, so that's great. So I don't think any of those people we've ever had on at Odd Otter. So
yes, I just had to go through and double check that I have some workshops available. I had to go through and make sure that I had them not available on the nights that we have comedy. Because the nights are an option for that. So.
You and I should probably go over the next couple months and just make sure we're on the same page.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah.
Same thing. It's funny how many people you have to like sync your calendars with, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's like Dave has disc golf tournaments and I have comedy stuff. So we have to go 2-3 times a month and pull our, yes, I'm an old woman. I still use a paper calendar.
I have a hard enough time syncing my calendar with myself.
Right.
And just thinking, okay, who did I commit to where? And the big thing is, it's not always hard. It's not always harder to write it down on the calendar, but to remember to look at it before you say yes, because just because the date's not in your head, you think, oh yeah, I can do this, and you're like, oh crap, why did I say yes to that? I forgot I had a thing. So
I know. I mean to keep this with me at all times, but I don't follow my own rules that I make for myself. So
I have a different method. I put it all on my phone for my calendar for everything that I'm doing. And then for the next upcoming week or so, I do have a paper notebook that I put my to-do list in, and I put in there the things that are on my calendar on those days. So that's what I look at more for the near future. But then I use my calendar just to track. But I do have to watch my calendar because if someone signs up for a discovery call or a coaching session, they can do that automatically, and it just puts it on my calendar. And then I have to remember every night to look at it, make sure nothing popped up, because
you get like an email or something, don't you? Like a notification.
I do, but
sometimes, yeah.
It's through the calendar thing, so there's a lot of little things that pop up. So if I'm not paying attention, it's easy to just kind of disregard it.
Got it.
Yeah, so that's exciting, and we got lots going on between the two of us and stuff. I know today we talked about just catching up and shooting the Shinola a little bit because we haven't been able to do that for a bit.
I want to hear all about your trip. I mean, I've heard some, but
oh yeah, it was amazing. You want me to just go right into it?
Go ahead, go.
I can go into it right now. So this trip. It's one of those things that's just really close to me because it's been very meaningful in my both business and personal growth. I went back to this last week. I went to Park City, Utah for a conference called the No Longer Virtual Conference.
What do I do if Nate's calling me right now?
Oh, well,
I can
tell about the conference while you take that most desirable call.
I better answer because I've been trying to
mute your thing though.
Hello.
We don't listen to your conversation.
Yes.
Cheri has an amazing relationship with Nate.
No.
He calls her. Oh, she didn't mute her mic, I guess. Never mind. We can play guess what he's asking. Yes, no, yes.
I can't say.
I'm going to assume she's going to edit this part out when we do.
Yeah. All right. I know I need to be there. It starts at what?
This is going to be
Date?
fun.
7?
And for people watching,
Okay.
this is what Cheri and I do. We hang out, we take life as it goes.
Okay.
And when something comes up, we just jump into it and go with it.
Okay. Are you going to be there? Because I need to ask you
I
something.
actually,
I'm right in the middle of
put my phone on silence because that's what
Like,
some people do
right now.
when
You're not
they
there.
are, you know, recording a show.
Okay.
But, you know, superstar.
All right. I'll be there.
You don't want to miss it.
Okay,
Just want to
bye.
be there. Okay, bye.
I am so sorry, but I just got 2 nights at Nate's. So
Congratulations.
yeah, tonight and tomorrow night. So here we go.
Though you might want to edit that part out of our podcast.
So rude. Anyway, you were in Utah.
And what was I saying? Oh yeah, this is really close to my heart. That's what I was saying.
A rude bitch, man.
No, I went to Utah for the No Longer Virtual conference, which is a conference. It's really more of a retreat than a conference. It's very small. There was, I think, 15 of us there this time, which was smaller than normal because of COVID. Usually they like to have over 20. And the last couple were, 35 people. And they max it out at 40 because it's designed to be very intimate, very conversational.
Right.
So, so it was just so good to see people again that I haven't seen for 3 years, even though we've interacted online. And the whole design of this conference is to connect beyond the keyboard. That's why it's no longer virtual. It's originally started by people who were collaborating and networking and doing things together and had great relationships online, primarily through LinkedIn, who were like, hey, why don't we just all plan to be in the same city at the same time and converge? And so they did that. And the people who are putting on the workshops are the people in the conference. So it's, you're sitting there hanging out, and then all of a sudden, it's so-and-so's turn to do this section and someone else's turn to do the next section. So it's just really good teamwork, but it's a really good group of people who are all doing all the things I want to do with speaking and writing and that I'm doing, but they're, I'm entry level and they're here, and you're sitting with people talking about that, and then they're talking about people that are ahead of them and how they're trying to get there. And so we're all helping each other get to the next level. And regardless of where you're at, you're a contributor. So it's just a good feeling. So that
sounds really cool. Yeah.
Amazing. And it was really that lift I needed for where I'm at in my business to kind of re-engage and get the emphasis and excitement, motivation kind of back up. So I've kind of been on a high ever since that. And I've been, one thing that's interesting, I've had to be careful of, because I am a jump in with 2 feet kind of person. I made a list. Every time I was talking to somebody, I had my phone and I would just be like, hold on, I got to throw this. Every time they said a tip or we should do this or we could do that or you might try this, I would put that in my phone on a separate list just for the conference, or a book you should read or whatever. So I've got like 20 different points, and I was careful not to put all the minutia, but just very specific things. And I wrote down who it was from. And so now what I've been doing is putting one of those things, if they're small enough, on my calendar per day so that I don't sit down and try to do them all. There were a few things that I did, even just like on the plane or in the hotel room before I left, to just like look into something or follow up on something. But anything that takes a little more emphasis, I'm trying to really be methodical about spreading it out over time. And then if there's anything big, maybe do one a month or one a week, so that I don't get burnt out. So
yeah,
that was that. But
well, that's cool, because I was thinking about this, because I have been doing something different, as you know, is that I've been doing a coaching with Miles Weber.
Yeah.
And I think about it a lot, because a lot of comedians say, like you can't teach comedy, or you can't learn comedy, like you're either funny or you're not, and comedy classes suck, and all that. I've never felt that way, because I started out with a comedy class.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about it, because it's like, I think any time that you put focus into something, it's valuable.
Right.
So like, like people might say, oh, why would you go that far for something like that and pay money? Because it makes you refocus on what you're doing. And sometimes we maybe not get lazy, but we might just lose focus or kind of get to a point where we don't know what we're doing. Or like with comedy, you know, I might have like a couple jokes that I think need a little help. And so I think asking, because it's kind of asking for help, and it's really putting your money or your attention or whatever into the thing that you think is valuable. Well, I don't know how anyone could ever say there's something wrong with that, you know?
Right. I think sometimes people view it from the wrong way. They feel like, particularly with comedy and sometimes with business too, I think people feel like having a coach or a mentor is someone telling you how you should do something, but that's not really like Miles isn't there to make you be funny in the style that Miles is funny. He's there to take your where you're at and then say, well, let's try this, let's consider that. And that's what I do with coaching too. It was very intimidating for me when I stepped into being a coach to look at where other people were at in their life. And if I didn't feel like I had experiences that were worthy of coaching them, that can get very intimidating, especially when I was new at it. Now I understand that my value isn't to have been down every road that anybody could ever go down. It's to go down the road with them and ask them questions like, oh, did you notice there's another turnoff over here? Or what if we go this way? Or have you already gone down this path? And it's to spur that thought so that you can elevate yourself.
Right. And I have been enjoying my time that Miles, his wife is also a comedian, so she's there in the sessions. I don't see her, but I can hear her saying stuff in his ear. And so, like, for example, the other day, I told him one of my jokes doesn't really work. And we just went line by line, and he just threw out suggestions of directions I could go. He didn't say this, but it'd be like, well, what if you did this, something like this? Or what if, and then I just took notes, and then I went back over the notes and then wrote some stuff. And, it's a process. It takes a while.
Sure. Well, because then you go try it and you think, okay, if you said, what about this, in 5 different options, and you try one and it doesn't work, and try another one, it doesn't work.
And so then, like today, I did I just showed him some video of me doing the Me Too movement, the OK Boomer, that whole thing.
Yeah. And,
he just kind of pointed out where I could use a couple tags. And then he also helped me, I'm trying to find a new ending for the bald joke, because that one's kind of that one kind of doesn't work anymore because of the people involved. So, but anyway, it was just really nice to, and another thing that was nice was to play that for him and hear him laughing in spots. It's like, oh, he's laughing at my joke, that was good.
That is reassuring. That's good. Yeah, that was one of the things that was nice. Someone who I have a lot of respect for at this conference had pulled me aside at the end and said, you really have a way of reframing things in a way that just, like, she was just saying that I was really good at that.
You are really good at that.
Well, thank you. But it meant a lot. It's kind of like when you have someone who you look up to, like, point out something, you're just like, I mean, I know you said that with like Nate or with other people, or even Hijinks saying you're hilarious. It's like when you have people that are ahead of you in the craft, or that you admire as being good at what they do, when they give you a compliment. And that's why I try to remember that with other people around me too. It's like, it might feel like it goes without saying, but that person might really need to hear that. Right.
That's true. Are we done with that already?
So that was my trip. Now I'm just trying to, watch things elevate to the next level. Like, because I guess that's what I'd say is I went to this is in a different location every year. 3 years ago was in Atlanta, and I can see the pivot in my success from that point forward. And I wasn't able to go in 2020. It was right before COVID happened, but I had a family event that was at the same time. And then in 2021, it didn't happen because of COVID. And so I've just been like anxious. So I'm just ready to, I can't wait for a year from now to look back and be like, oh, look at the shift in trajectory, or the continued shift. But
I know it's like right now I have like like all these jokes that I'm like, I have all these notes of jokes that I got to work on. And I'm also producing shows.
Yeah.
And performing now. It's just I just added 2 more. So sometimes I feel like for that moment I can look at all this and go, that's too much. There's too much. And then I stop and go, no, this is what you wanted. Remember? It's like, oh yeah. So
I think that's,
these jokes can wait. They're good. They're okay if I leave them alone for now. When I got a couple weeks coming up with that are pretty light. So then I can focus on that kind of stuff and just take it as it comes, and just watching as I get busier and busier, that I'm getting closer and closer to being able to quit my job. So
right. And it forces you to be more efficient. And that's one thing that this week I have had to pull out my notebook and write down my to-do list every day, because when I don't do that, I get scattered and I just don't perform as well on any level. And when I do it, I perform better, and I just am so efficient, and I'm getting so much more done in 2 hours than sometimes I'll get done in an entire day because I'm so on point. Today I kind of got to that space where you were just describing, where it's like, this is too much, and then I'm thinking, oh, but this is what you wanted.
right.
So I am glad tomorrow's. I have one thing tomorrow, but other than that, it's really just a rest and recharge day on purpose. So.
That's good. Yeah, I found out we have a couple days off later on in the month that I didn't really think that we had off. So that's nice to know I have that to look forward to. I mean, like off work, like no work at all. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that is one thing I'm really trying to be better about, is blocking out time, because I need to reset more than I do.
All right, you know what I want to talk about now? I want to talk about music.
Really? Okay, I love music.
I had a really, not profound, but it felt profound at the moment, thought today. So when you work at Nate's Club, you get played up to music, and you can choose whatever song you want, or the DJ will just pick one for you. And I always struggle with that because I want my song to be just right, and I feel like it never is. Just because
I am the worst at that, because I have no idea what song to pick.
I feel like, I want it to, but anyway, so when it comes to like, I'm starting a show, like I'm the host, when I come up, I'm the first thing. I've got to get this crowd hyped up. How do you pick a song that's hype enough?
Yeah.
And I really, just like every night, I've just been listening to music and thinking, oh, maybe this is Dave, listen to this. Andy, listen to this. Like fucking driving everybody crazy trying to pick a song. I finally had a student. It was a student that picked out my song for me.
Oh, really?
Because what about this? Because I was explaining it to them. And then, and I said, and the name of the show is Dirty Jokes. And the kid's like, oh, hang on, what about this? And I was like, that's perfect. So I'm not even going to say what it is. But, I felt like Dave and I were not understanding each other, like what I wanted the song to evoke. I didn't want it just to be a good song because the lyrics were just right, or this was just right. I wanted it to make a certain mood, like a excitement happen. How like sometimes you go, like when you're at a karaoke night, there are certain songs that when somebody sings them, the audience gets excited.
Yeah, and that thing is like I've tried to put a lot of thought into what song, and I think it's better if I don't pick one, because there's just something that doesn't feel right about just walking up to like a Billy Joel song or something like. Like it's just not going to excite the room to be like, who am I to the old dude?
Build me up, Buttercup,
Right.
But then conversely, today I was busy at work. I wasn't doing this at work. No, but it was on my lunch. And how I like to watch those reaction videos. Well, they were reacting to a song, Somebody That I Used to Know.
Oh yeah.
And they were watching the video, and it's like, you hear that song on the radio, or you heard it on the radio, because it's not brand new, it's older. And to me, it was just kind of a background song, But I watched the video and got the really the idea of the song is that this person that he loved or thought he loved totally they broke up and she turned on him.
Oh,
And
so it's
he's saying now you're just somebody that I used to know.
Yeah.
But then she came in and then kind of gave her version of it. But the music is just so haunting, and the guy's just the expression on his face, he just seems so pained, And I have been over my ex for years now. How they say the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference.
Yes.
So that's when I knew I was totally over my ex, was when I just didn't care anymore. And I've been way beyond that for many years. But watching that video, it reminded me of what that felt like when your heart's just broken and that person turns on you so viciously, and how that horribly that feels, And I found myself getting teary-eyed, and I'm like, wow, that just showed me see how important it really is to have just the right song, because a song really can change the mood.
Yeah, and I read about this in advertising. It's music, it skips over the logical part of your brain, so it goes straight to the feeling and the emotion. So when you're watching, say, a commercial, before you even read the words or know what the commercial is about, you sense the music and you already have a feeling attached to it. That's why you look at those Celine Dion puppy dog commercials or whatever.
Oh, Sarah McLachlan. Oh, good God.
Huh? You don't like her?
No, well, no, not really. But those commercials are just oh,
yeah.
I don't want to ugly cry on it in the middle of the afternoon.
Right, but before you even know what the commercial's about, you hear the music, and it's just oh crap. And even whether it's peppy music, sad music, happy music, whatever, as soon as you hear it, you relate to it in a way that's different than you don't even have time to sit there and think through it logically. And that's why something like the show, where it's okay, we don't want funeral music, we need peppy, jazzy, people excited, really lifting up their spirits kind of music to put a lot of life in the audience.
Right. And I just realized I was off in La La Land thinking, ooh, while I'm on stage tonight, I can tell all those people in the audience to come back Sunday night. So
yes, nice. You can.
Yeah, but no, so it really, I don't know, I felt like the universe was trying to tell me something about, I don't know why, but sometimes for a long time, I really kind of quit listening to music because it would catch me off guard and make me cry. Certain songs or whatever. I mean,
when I was at the worst of my breakup and going through my divorce and stuff, I had 3 different playlists. I have playlists for everything. I have a rainy day playlist, but I had 3 specific playlists that I would change which one I would listen to based on where I was at. One was called Depression, one was called Hope, and then one was called All Good Things. And they were, I specifically had gone through and looked for songs that didn't talk about, well, at least in the Hope and the All Good Things, I had to find songs that didn't talk about being positive because of love or because of, which is really hard to do.
I would imagine, yeah.
Yeah, there were very few that were about that. And the interesting thing is there were certain songs that were in all 3 playlists, because depending on my frame of mind, I could feel differently about the song based on where I was in my mindset. But if I was listening to songs that were really happy and I was in a negative mindset, sometimes it just backfired and made me feel even worse because it was rubbing it in my face.
Right. Yeah, sometimes you have to be careful about your choices. It's like they garbage in, garbage out,
Yeah.
I used to make like mixtapes, you know, like one for when I was getting ready to go out with the girls. And so the kind of songs that made me feel sexy, and one for this and that. So it was the same kind of, you know, like making a playlist. And those CDs carried me through some rough times, you know.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. It's also kind of fun with those situations where you know what the next song is. Like you find yourself starting to sing along to the next song as soon as the
Right.
last one ended. Yeah.
The thing that I think that young people miss nowadays, that sounds like an old person. Okay, I am.
Well,
But
with all their newfangled technology and all.
yeah, newfangled. Remember when we used to get an album and you take it home, and maybe you didn't, I don't know, you had really strict parents, but take it home and play it and read the liner, the album liner. And so I knew all the lyrics to everything. And there was this whole experience that I think they're not getting.
Yeah, that's true, because I remember doing that with I had a different kind. I had a thing called a CD.
Whatever.
But the little paper, it would have the little paper thing. It would have the lyrics in there, and you know, now you can Google it, but how rarely do you actually do that? Because typically, unless you're looking for something specifically, you don't Google the lyrics.
Oh yeah, and it's like albums. I don't know now. I suppose they do. It was an experience, like to listen to the whole album, the front and the back, all the way through. And there are some that I go look it up on YouTube just so I can experience, because I don't have my albums anymore, but I can experience because they'll put whole albums on and just.
Yeah. Well, and there were songs that you would never hear on the radio that were on the albums, because you know the album might have 2 or 3 hits that goes on the radio, and then all of a sudden there's all these other songs that might get played here and there, but you rarely hear them.
There's a lot of hidden gems out there.
There are. Like, music is amazing. It's awesome. It hits right to the emotions.
Yes, and some of us are really mad that they don't have a good singing voice.
Yes. Well, also, I listen to music every day. I can't think of the last day that I actually experienced where I didn't purposely listen to music.
Really?
I turn it on when I am getting ready. I listen to it like while I write. I put on classical music so that I don't have lyrics interfering. Like I listen to music all the time. And if there's, sometimes I have had days where it's like I'm like, oh, I haven't listened to music today, so I like put some on, but I can feel a difference.
I don't listen to it I usually only listen to music on my way to work. Or, you know, anytime I'm in the car. That's really the only time I purposely listen to music, because part of it is I do feel like music is manipulative. And sometimes I just don't want my emotions to be manipulated in one way or the other.
Well, that was like sometimes with my depression playlist. Honestly, I produce better writing when I have an air of depression. So like if I bring my mood down, if I'm writing about specific things, then I actually do better work. So I sometimes have to manipulate myself.
Well,
I don't do that often anymore, but I have had times where I do.
Really? I don't know. Made me want to listen to music a little bit more the last few days. Except I don't feel so manic about it now because I've picked my song, and so it's good. And I already know what songs, if the comedians have to lap dance or pole dance or whatever, I've got those picked too.
Nice.
So yeah, so we're good. We are all set to go. Buy your tickets for Dirty Jokes with Cheri Hardman, or come out to Nate Jackson Super Funny Comedy Club tonight and tomorrow night. See Amir K and see me.
You're gonna be there tonight and tomorrow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty good thing you answered that call in the middle of our podcast.
Yeah, sometimes it pays to be rude. Who knew?
Who knew? It's okay. Thanks for editing. You can just pull that out and no one will ever know.
You know, I don't edit these things. I probably will. I probably will edit that.
And if it's not edited, you'll have to listen to my incoherent rambling while I tried to ignore
No,
Cheri.
I felt bad about that, but I was like, I don't know. Is there a way to pause the? Oh, maybe you can't. No, it's pause or stop recording. Oh, well.
No.
Once you're in, I guess, right? So we just went for it. I'm excited that I'm going to Vegas next month, Andy.
I know. I'm bummed that I'm not joining you, but it's going to be fun one of these days.
I've got one booking, and I'm still looking for 3 nights. So
you have
Vegas,
room.
April 6th, 7th, and 9th.
I saw that you have a show coming up in May, and I saw you post about it, and I was like, oh, I was
for my birthday?
On your birthday, yeah.
Yeah, the 28th and 29th, if you want to do a road trip.
Yeah, where is that?
The holiday weekend, Portland.
In Portland. Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah. Those are hijink shows. He's bringing me down there, so that's nice.
Cool. Yeah.
And then I've got, I got weird stuff, like in May, I've got Spokane twice on the 1st and the 13th. So there's going to be some miles being put on my car in the next couple months. So that's exciting. Yeah.
That's what you asked for. A road comic.
Yep, it's better than being roadkill, right?
Yes, it is.
All right, well, I got to go do something about my hair, apparently, because look at that. I can't go on stage looking like that with a big old crack in my hair. And I always say that I look like I'm going bald, and my hairdresser is always like, no, Cheri, it's because your roots are gray now, and so they look kind of transparent. And I'm like, shut up.
Well, you know what? Have you considered wearing a hat? Like a little fancy dancy, like a...
Yeah. Or you get a ski cap and just pull it down over my face. Problem
it is beanie season. You could do a beanie.
I could. My head's too big for a hat.
I'm not saying I think you need to. I'm just giving you
No, I have a huge dome. Let's look at you and me. Look how much that head my bigger is than yours. How big are my head? That I have a huge dome. Yeah. That's why I'm always telling Dave, get behind me. Don't sit in front of me. It looks like one big bubble and one little pinhead.
Funny. Oh, that's funny.
All right. Well, it's 4:43.
Well, good luck tonight. Knock him dead. Break a leg.
Thank you. I am sorry that I was rude earlier, but it was Nate. You know.
I know the pecking order.
Okay. All right. Goodbye, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Bye.